We're gonna give Marin the money right now. Marin, the next time we see you, we'll be throwing fireballs in the dyno, all right?
Sounds good.
Thank you. New car day is always exciting. This is a very, very special car for Karma Speed. It's gonna help us grow our team, have a lot of fun together. As you can see, we got Randall's Cummins, we got a trailer. Let's go get this thing. This is a very, very interesting car with a very cool story for us here. We know we're at the right spot when Marin's got his Super here, but there's one thing that might trigger a lot of people. Marin's just clowning on everyone right here. All right, here she is. See their reactions. Randall, you ready for this?
Dude, that thing is so dirty. It does look great. Totally thought it was great in pictures.
You'll meet Marin here in a second, but I met him probably like 3-4 years ago, and the day I met him was the day that this broke, and the throwout bearing went out, and he never fixed it because he got into Supras and other platforms and tuning and investing all his money into his business, and this has just been parked there since. And I came over the other day to help him out with something with Audi to let him scan the car so he can start tuning those. I was like, holy crap, your FR-S is still back there, right? He's like, yeah. I was like, would you sell it?
How's it going?
Good, you? You got the keys?
I do.
Do we pop the hood and show them the goods before
Yeah,
we
do
get
it.
into it? What are you thinking right now, Marin?
I'm sad,
Just sad?
but I'm excited because this car has sat for so many years. I mean, said how much it's been sitting with like how brown it's been. At one point I was gonna wash, I was like, wait, you know what? The dirt's gonna protect the paint at this point. It's gonna
Right.
stop the sun rays from killing it.
Alright, this is where it gets interesting. So this is Marin tuned on Instagram. Throw his Instagram right here. Marin, this is a very special car to you. Long story short, how did this car come about? This car is the car that got you into tuning.
Back into tuning. I used to tune back. I started when I was 16 years old.
Oh, I didn't know it was before.
Yeah, I started tuning when I was 16.
Oh.
Yeah, and then I started getting into... I decided to go into a tech job because air conditioning was much nicer. I used to actually run a shop when I was 18 years old, and I would do a little bit of tuning here and there, build cars, fix cars, stuff like that. And then I realized I hated working on stuff. I had too many broken bones. It just wasn't fun. So I went into the tech industry, and then I went in and out of tuning throughout the years. And then before I bought this car, I was full-time tech, didn't want to do anything, but this car is what got me back into tuning full-time, and that's what I've been doing since. All I do.
And that was in 2013 when you bought it?
Yeah, about 2013 is one of the first cars. I actually had to wait for it.
So this is a one-owner car, just you?
Yeah, just me. Yeah, it was, I literally, they didn't even do PPF or anything. Like, oh, you have to pay for the tint and all this. I'm like, no, I don't. There's nothing on it yet.
So what happened? Why did you park it? This was 3 or 4 years ago, right? The day I met you is when it broke.
Yeah, I was drifting in Mexico. I was drifting through the intersection, almost full lock at about 40 miles an hour, and then I pull in the gas station and the car shuts off with the clutch down. I'm like, oh no, I broke something. And I thought it was the engine because I was at 28,000 miles on this motor. This motor I bought, it had, I think it was 800 to 1,200 miles on it, and I put 28,000 on it with this exact setup. So I freaked out, and I was like, wait a second, let me just see if it just stalls. So I click it over, it's got a lightweight flywheel, and I click it and the car jumps, and I was like, oh, and I forgot I had just put the transmission in it. And every time I do a transmission swap, this car's had 12 transmissions. I worked with Veris Engineering to do their prototype. They had a straight cut gear cut, so it's like I helped them with that and did all their testing. And so the transmission was in and out every time, and we just learned that anytime the transmission comes out, swap the throwout bearing. So I had a brand new throwout bearing. I forgot to put it in. I put the old one in, and when you reuse them, they break. So it just broke. So I just left it there for a couple of days, and eventually just towed it back. And then I started getting into the super stuff, and I just went full R&D mode. I just never spent the time to fix it because this is just a toy to me. It's my favorite car that I own. I just didn't have priority in my life.
For someone who doesn't know much about tuning, describe the reason why you'd have so many engines and transmissions in this car.
This car originally I bought just for me. I was not going to get into tuning. Once I did get into tuning and I started tuning these, we wanted to see what we could do with them, and we started seeing a lot of people modifying them, so we wanted to start an engine build program. The motor had gone out, not from my tune, it was from someone else's. We decided to build it, break it, build it, break it, just rinse and repeat. That's why it had 12 transmissions in it. So with the FR-S, what we do with them is I would go 1,000 to 2,000 miles. We would strip everything down, check what wore, make modifications, rebuild the transmission, and just rinse and repeat. So that's why it had so many transmissions. I only broke 3 OEM transmissions. I broke our built engine 3 times. We finally came to a solution, does work. I built a big engine that we were actually aiming for about 850 wheel on it, which we were pretty sure something else was going to break. But I built that up and it just sat at our shop for years. We just never bothered putting it in because it ran, it was fine. I realized at one point, I'm like, you know what, honestly, 500 horsepower, it was fun. It really doesn't need more than that. But I just like to go a little over the top. Like, I like things a little non-rational. I mean, this car used to have a built engine. It was making, I think, upwards of 550, 600 pounds of torque. And so I could go 70, 80 miles on the highway, hit the anti-lag, and it would just roast the tires all the way like 120 miles an hour. Just like complete smoke out, couldn't see out the back window. So
how many 86 platforms do you think you tuned because of you getting this car and getting into it? In
hundreds.
General, hundreds.
If not close to 1,000.
This car you got to test and learn everything on, and then you were able to then affect hundreds.
Yeah, so actually when I got
cars.
into tuning this, within 2 weeks, I think I tuned 20 or 30 of them.
Yeah. So this is a very special car because it affected a lot of other people's cars because Marin did all the R&D on this.
And then we use this as an R&D car, so we would break it all the time. I have broken pretty much everything you can possibly break on this, at least like 3 times. And it was just, so people were always like, why are your cars broken? Like, well, we're trying to break it. Like, so like one of the transmission builds we did with FR-S, he's like, well, no one else is braking. I need you to go excessive. So I flat foot shifted for 2,200 miles straight every single gear shift. And I never drove the car unless it was like completely to the floor.
Oh my god.
And we tore that down and it actually looked good. He's like, all right, if it survived that, I think we're in a good position right now.
Is there anything we should know before we start working on this?
Oh, I just need some basic things. I mean, the fuel's old, so I would pull the injectors out. I can get them clean for you. The fuel pump's probably dead. Might need a fuel filter, but the thing is you gotta buy assembly for that. It's gonna need that. I'd probably rebuild the dampers just because it's been sitting for so long. Cars don't like to sit at a static height. They like to move. Tires obviously gonna have flat spots. It just needs to be cleaned up. I mean, you can see there's a rag on a charge pipe just because I just never spent the time to go fix and cut that part out and dimple it so I didn't rub because we noticed it was rubbing. But other than that, I mean, it runs. It just, you know, I would add a couple extra parts like a fuel pressure sensor, retune it with the newer software. Because this is on the old beta software when I worked with Ecutech, developing the software years ago. So, I mean, like the suspension is dialed in for halfway between like canyon carving and drift. So it's designed to kick out just a little bit, but it was dialed in during driving. I went to the same place and just drove up and down and made passes nonstop, timed it, checked it, did G-force calculations, and slowly tweaked the suspension for it. But there's not too much you need to really do. To change the oil, maybe flush the coolant since it's been sitting so long.
You said this turbo setup makes some pretty cool noises.
It has the softest spring we can get. We put the blow-off valve there on purpose. We put it there for a couple purposes, but one of them was noise. So like, I never modified the grill. I have the grill for it, but I never modified it because I just wanted it seen and like shown. But it is an anti-surge housing. So I mean, just cruising on the highway, you're like non-stop. So I just put in a really soft valve, so it's just fun. It sounds fun because I didn't care about performance. It's just to be a fun driver's car, not a race car. Me and FR-S spent tons of time trying to figure out how to get it run cold enough. We blew one motor, literally just sitting in traffic, and then me passing a car, and it popped the head gasket just because it overheated. So we spent forever. We went through so many fan setups, so many cooling systems, like so much work trying to figure out how to keep it cold. And now it's to the point you can just drift non-stop in the summer. You know, 110 degrees out, and it never overheats.
Nice.
So, which is pretty awesome. Just needs a lot of cleaning up.
Cool. We can probably start loading it and then we'll dive more into the details later, but I think the next big exciting part is when we get it running and then we'll get it on the dyno and let you rip on it and see what we can do.
Yeah, and we can set it to whatever. I mean, I don't know if the future owner's gonna want the amount of power it had, but we can always put it on there and put it on a map.
Well, let's see what it does for sure.
Yeah. But it definitely made that power and made a lot of sense later. I raced a couple of GTRs and kicked their ass, and that's when I was like, you know, I should probably put it on the dyno, make sure the power's not too high. Anyways, substantially higher than we were expecting.
seat.
You're ruining it now.
He's got it set up. We're good. City, just hop
I got a tripod, baby.
Okay, release the e-brake. Yeah! Let's go! Let's go!
I have a collection of photos of my car on a trailer. Literally have a photo album. So I think it's called Subaru in its natural habitat.
Year 2014 registration.
Yeah, Marin, did you ever register this thing or?
No, it was registered. I just never put the sticker on purpose. I just always thought it was funny.
Give Marin the money right now. Marin, the next time we see you, we'll be throwing fireballs in the dyno, all right?
Sounds good.
Thank you. Thank you for trusting us with your baby.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it run again.
Nothing like a little car added to the collection.
Hi, Joey. This is Joey.
Car number 2. Alright, Randall's hyped for this. You like cleaning stuff? That's not good water here in AZ.
Easy. Yeah, not good. Fired up. Barely fired up.
If you guys are wondering what we use to clean here at Karma Speed, we have some products listed on the site. We're wanting to add more to the catalog, but we have all Superior Image stuff. I actually work for this company, and some of our team members are doing the marketing for this company. They're local to Phoenix. They have some really rad products. They started in the wholesale car wash industry as far as like the drive-through car washes. They took all their best chemicals and put them in bottles and made their own blends of some stuff. Like this diamond, actually my new favorite right now is this Crush Power Cleaner Degreaser. You dilute it into a Pro bottle right here. That's listed on the product on the website. Look out for those. We have the Maxi Foam and the foam cannon, and the guys are gonna get after it. Do a little pre-rinse. said we're missing something. Heading over to the barn. What do we got going on here?
It's cooking in here. What we got?
Throw a clean Chevy jet tag on. Oh, Toyota. Toyota, that's solid.
TRD maybe?
Clean. See how many miles she has on the chassis. Oh.
63.
Really?
63, 60.
That's what I guessed when I plugged in the blue book.
63, 650.
Hey, 63,000 miles on this, Eddie. That's solid. That's a good car if you won this. 60K miles on a 13 with a freaking full setup. So here's the thing with Karma Speed we want to get you in on. You're going to watch us transform this car. It's going to be really satisfying. You're not going to want to miss out, so you should hit that subscribe button. 2, we're giving this thing away. And you're not going to want to miss out on having a chance at getting a call in the next couple months saying, we fully transformed this thing. You just saw the entire process and it's yours. Just like Andrew who got the Mazda Speed 3. So go get entered right now with the link in the description. And then right here is a video of Randall transforming the stereo in a truck. Randall's thing is wiring. It's a good time. Go watch the transformation. It's super satisfying. We appreciate you being here, but we'll see you on this video so you can get a little bit more down into the details with cars and have fun with us.